Badass women out there, welcome back to another episode on the Powerhouse. And today's topic actually came in through a listener email. So, one of you sent in an email that you wanted to understand what your role is worth in the market. So, thank you so much for submitting that. Anyone else that's listening, anything that you want incorporated into the podcast, anything that you want to learn more about, maybe you are struggling with getting your 2023 plan off the ground. Maybe you're having trouble actually executing, or maybe you're just burnt the fuck out and you need some guidance on how to get out of this rut. Send an email to info@claimyourpowher.com and I will be happy to incorporate something just for you, my friend. So, on this topic of understanding your worth in the market, what your job is actually worth, I want to point out that worth and value are two totally different things. So, as women, we really struggle with leaving thousands and thousands of dollars on the table. Anyone that's been listening to the podcast for a while, anyone that has attended any of our free workshops, or if you're following me across social media, you know that I speak very regularly about how to never, ever leave another dime on the table. And I do this through educating you on how to determine what your role is worth, but I also talk about the value that you bring. So think about worth as what your home would be like in the market, right? So if you go to Zillow, you hire a real estate agent, whatever is on that, obviously, whatever they feel that your home is worth in the market, that is what it's listed at, right? But then you have this whole other concept of value. So let's say your home is worth $500,000, right? That is what is fair market value on the market for your 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever it is that you have. But then if you have a couple that comes along that they walk into your kitchen and that is their dream kitchen, or maybe it is in the perfect school district that they've always wanted to get in, or maybe you have a cute little pergola in your garden in the backyard, and this is something that they always want. When they saw that, they know they could be sitting in that garden, enjoying a drink after work and just taking in their space, and they saw themselves at home. Then they are going to value your $500,000 property, maybe even much higher. We saw this happen during the pandemic. We've seen this happen across the United States, where worth was one thing, but the value that it brought to someone else would send that through the roof. So when you think about the same context and you apply that to your role in the job market, then the worth of your role is essentially what that role is going for. So if you are a chief operating officer in a technology company, then the market's going to say your total value of your total compensation package, which means your base salary, your short-term incentive, your long-term incentive, your severance, everything that you negotiate before you take the job, that is what your job is worth. And that is employer reported data. So what that means is every time that you go out to Indeed or you go to salary.com, all of these free resources where people are talking and reporting about how much money they actually, make, that is sometimes can be very skewed. So you cannot use that. That's just like Zillow is going to give you a radically different number than a very educated real estate agent, because we tend to inflate numbers, my friends. If you don't believe me, when is the last time that someone asked you, hey, lady, how much money do you make? Were you really honest? Right? As women, we typically make that number much, much less. As men, they greatly inflate that number. Men and women do that for numbers for another part of our lives as well. And so the data is skewed. So to accurately determine what your role is actually worth in the market, lady, you need to hire an expert. You need to hire someone that can accurately determine that. And how we do this as experts in compensation, as experts in executive coaching, as experts in negotiation, all things for women to claim their power, reach the top, and take control of their lives, is we do this through purchasing employer reported data. So, yes, there are companies out there that make a living, make a very healthy profit by getting other businesses to basically fill out anonymous reports on what they pay all of the roles within their company. All of that information goes into a database in these organizations, and it's sorted out by industry, the level of revenue, the level of profit, the number of people this role oversees, all of this put into buckets. And so folks like us purchase the access to all of this data, and that's how we determine what your role is worth. So when you're going into any negotiation, whether that is a brand new job, whether that is going into a promotion, maybe you are considering a paid board seat, no matter what that is, this is how you determine what your role is actually worth, which means what market value is for your role. If you are a business owner, if you're a service or product provider, you do this exact same concept. And the beautiful part is you can do this on your own. You just simply go to your competitors, all of your competitors, you make an Excel listing of what they're all charging for comparable services or products. And that way you can determine what your service or product is worth in the market. So whether that you are a corporate professional or you're a business owner, those things you always need to price your worth, demanding your worth in your role or in your business at the 75th percentile of the market. So what that means at the 75th percentile is that 74% of your competitors, people like you, make less money than that number, right? And then 24% of competitors in the market, just like you, make more than this number. So you always ask for the 75th percentile. And my friend, this is your floor. This is your bottom number. You are not going below that. And that's when value comes in. So just like with our example before, your home, the market can say is only worth XYZ, but to the right buyer, that home could be worth double, triple, maybe even quadruple that. And so when you are negotiating for the value that you bring in your role or in your business, you do just that. So you are continually process, you continually explain and convey over and over and over again how you bring so much fucking value to this organization or to the client that you're chasing. And this is where that premium comes in, because yeah, they could go next door and get, your competitor and get the same product or service, but how much value is it going to bring to them? How is it going to change this person's life? How is it going to make their day-to-day life easier? And how is this product or service going to help them absolutely take every single goal, everything that they wanted to do, and blow that out of the water, right? So it's not as like any home, any car purchase, anything that you buy in your life, there is worth and then there is value to you. And that depends on the premium you will pay. Think of that as skincare products. Ladies, we know we can go to the drugstore and buy very cheap skincare products. But you also know that there is value in getting to your end result of your skincare quicker, which is why you're paying hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars for a much higher end product, right? Exact same concept. But you wouldn't do that. You would not spend that incredible premium to get value on a product or service if it was not communicated to you over and over and over and over again through paid ads, through every time you go on social media, you say, I want to buy XYZ. And because Alexa and Siri are listening to you all day, before you know it, every feed is just full of ads with this product. That is the exact same thing that you do whenever you are negotiating. So you never leave another penny on the table. And you convey your value in the corporate setting by continually showing result after result after result after result to this organization. Can they go with the person that is only asking for what they're worth? Absolutely. But that's not going to get the organization to their end result the way that they want to or as quickly as they want to. So they're going to pay a premium for the value that you bring. So that is the radical difference in what your job is worth, what your services and products are worth, and what value that they bring. So always, always know your numbers inside and out. Make sure you are working with an expert. If you do not do this, if you literally keep throwing darts like so many of us do and say, hopefully this is what it's worth. And you literally, many women that come into our programs are trying to negotiate offers in industries that they've never even worked in before. Or maybe it's their first time they're stepping into an executive position. Maybe it's their first time that they are negotiating their own CEO position or their own board position. And they have no fucking clue what the market value is even worth, let alone why these folks should pay a premium for the value that they bring. And this is what contributes to us still making only 82 to 83 cents on the man's dollar. And it's not, I promise you that the entire world does not see this woman, interviewing for a role or that they're going to purchase services from. And not everyone's saying is, oh, great, it's a chick, so I'm going to get this as cheap as possible. I know that shit exists, but I'm telling you the majority of folks, is because we're not asking for the dollars. This is why we are leaving money on the table, because you have no idea what your role, what your product or service is worth. And you sure as fuck don't know the value that you bring. So the first step in doing that, again, hire an expert to understand that. And then to really wrap your mind around how much value that you bring is I want you to literally create a brag board. And what I mean by creating a brag board is I want you to write out every single thing that you've accomplished. I'm talking about anything that you feel is so tiny. I promise you, being the overachieving badass that you are, it is much more than average, my friend. It is much more than anyone else that is going up for this role. It is much more than your competitors or that are just delivering enough, because you don't just deliver good enough. You fucking crush it. So create that brag board. And I'm talking, sit down for at least a couple hours, if not start the exercise and go back to it and write down every single thing that you've crushed it at in your career. I'm talking about from grad school forward, from your first big girl job forward, and you list those out. And then you start understanding, wow, I'm pretty fucking great at what I do. Holy crap, I forgot that I had accomplished all of this. And what that's going to do is that's going to trick your mind out of, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not sure that I can do it. I'm not sure that they are going to see everything. I'm not sure I can really pull it off, right? All of these doubts that society has placed on us as women since we were born, all of the shoulds that we continually talk about in this podcast, in my content, in my workshops, within my program. And we start to recondition ourselves to be like, hell yeah, I did this. And I know that I can take my same methodology, my same systems, my same strategies, my years and years of experience of throwing all the darts, making all the mistakes, because now that's what gave me a tried and true method where I can set this organization on fire. And you say it just like that. You say and you command the value that you bring. So step number 1, understand your worth. Step number 2, command your power and wrap your mind around the value that you bring to this organization. If you follow this strategy, this is what will ensure you never leave another penny on the table again. I promise you, if you take this and you put this in place right away, you will not leave money on the table. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with you loving money. With more money, ladies, this is how we have more power. This is how we make more influential change. This is how you make sure generation after generation is not riddled with debt. This is how you take care of your family. This is how you retire at an age that you can actually, I don't know, enjoy your retirement. All of these things is making more money. This is how you make a difference. This is how you truly leave your mark and build your legacy. You're never going to do it without more money, because if you didn't care about money, you wouldn't have chosen to be an executive, right? There's plenty of other ways in this world you could have made a living. You chose a path of so much resistance, of climbing this corporate patriarchal dad's ladder and fighting the boys club every single day of the week so you can shatter that glass ceiling. Now you have some basic foundations to do just that when it comes to understanding your worth and then understanding your value. So I cannot wait to see you take these strategies and set the world on fire, my friends. I will see you next week on The Powerhouse.